Ladies and gentlemen, today we have the 10 best map layouts by XD. So ladies and gentlemen, this is COD Zombies.
Starting off the top
best
10
map
map layouts in Call of Duty Zombies, we have got Dur Eisendra.
Of course.
Possibly the most iconic layout in Zombies, and for good reason.
Best co-op map, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of Cold War BO6 on this list.
It's a classic layout that you can't really go wrong with. Dur Eisendra is laid out in a simple hub and spoke system with the spawn/pack-a-punch area acting as the central hub, and the 3 teleporters acting as the spokes, which breaks down the pack-a-punch quest into a nice 3 simple step process, making it less tedious to do.
So many maps have taken inspiration from Dur Eisendra's layout, like Garad Crovey, Dead of the Night. These maps are all based off of like a cross type of formation, and it always works. It's always such a banger map style.
However, despite its simple nature, it does require you to at least somewhat think about how you choose to move around the map.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, despite being so close together, jumping down from near double tap onto the center courtyard requires you to go all the way around half of the map despite being within touching distance. Which I think is a nice aspect to this map's layout, that at least means you are not able to just wander around aimlessly and have to at least somewhat think about what you're doing.
It's also the level of verticality. Like the spawn room is lower than this level, but there's also a higher level where double tap and jug is. It's just so well thought out, and to think that this is the 4th Zombies map ever is insane.
And so Dur Eisendra, it's simple, it's logical,
2008,
and it still
they were so ahead of
possesses a
the
slight
time.
challenge. Enough said, moving on to number 9.
Incredible, yeah. What's number 9 going to be?
And coming into the number 9 spot today,
I want to see Buried on this list. Buried is
ladies
such a good
and
map
gentlemen,
layout.
we have got Garad Crovey.
GK,
now, Garad
yes, sir.
Crovey is essentially a reskin of Dur Eisendra's layout, except
yeah,
with some slight improvements. So once again, you've got the 3 spokes being the Dragon calling centers, and the department store area acting as like the central hub of the map.
And speaking of verticality, GK's verticality is so much grander than Dur Eisendra. It's like 5 freaking levels. It's insane, this map.
But each of the 3 spokes now all have more equal levels of importance. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Dragon command is still the most used, but the other 2 now have relevant perks and significant parts within the Easter egg now too. Unlike the other 2 Dur Eisendra teleporters, which don't serve as much purpose within the game once Pack-a-Punch has been activated. But this map, like Dur Eisendra, has a nice and easy to understand layout, with a bit of verticality mixed into the map too, to keep...
To me, this is one of the best original map layouts ever. I still think a lot of people think this is the last original Ether Zombies map, and for all the right reasons. I don't think a lot of Dark Ether map layouts are as well thought out as this one, especially like with the dragon wings that you can grab right here and just instantly go to the pap. It was so well done, this map. It's still to this day my favorite Zombies map.
Keep things a bit interesting
Almost 10
here
years
and there.
later.
And the Pack-a-Punch area, plus the option to get the dragon wings as well to make the trip there faster, is a nice extra as well.
Yeah.
Although I must say, it could definitely use a fast travel system to take you from the supply depot to the tank factory and vice versa.
True, and I think that's why, like, once you get the dragon wings, you're mainly playing in like the central part of the map and dragon command.
As moving between those 2 parts of the map can be quite tedious.
Right.
But in the end, Garad Crovey, just like Dur Eisendra, solid map layout, but a bit too simple to be any higher on the list.
Wonder what's gonna be next, man.
Honestly,
I think he's gonna put a BL4 map.
Moving on to
here.
the sole
Maybe
Black
Ancient
Ops
Evil
4 map
9?
on our list today, we have got Ancient Evil.
How do I freaking know it, man? I'm so good. Ancient Evil's got a great map layout. I personally like 9's more. I think 9 is just so simplistic. It's 2 circles placed on top of each other.
Now,
It's
this
incredible.
ranking is here for
This one is sick, though. It's got like 2 maps put into one.
a slightly
it's done a
different
good
reason
job
to
of it.
every other map on this list.
Yeah.
And that's because for this map, the main reason for it featuring here is not so much due to the functionality of the layout, but more for its aesthetic.
Right.
Starting off though with the actual layout itself, it is really one of the more simple layouts in COD Zombies.
It is simple, and they use a lot of portals. I think fast travels and portals make or break a Zombies map layout. 100%.
Featuring the classical loop design, or quote unquote 2 ways from spawn design, in both respective parts of the map. A design featuring in most Zombies maps that you can't really go wrong with. Provides a bit of variety and is simple to understand too. But what adds the most to this map's layout, I think, is its aesthetic/graphic design, which may be a bit of an unconventional take, but Ancient Evil has got to be one of the most, if not the most cinematic map of all time.
I agree. I think the way, like, this whole under, like, belly area is literally like filled with these massive mythological gods and goddesses. It's freaking crazy, man. Ancient Evil, again, another map ahead of its time, and I really doubt we'll ever get a Chaos map to this level. I think the last thing that we got that was kind of close was the Tomb, and I mean, we all know how that went.
The way the ancient Greek mythology has been intertwined into the aesthetic of this map is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and again, you gotta play it on PC for you to really see it.
Especially for the Pack-a-Punch side of the map,
Right.
which I find actually distracts the player from any annoying mechanics of the map's layout.
True.
As having to backtrack or leg it to the other side of the map is never a great feature, but I think it is an easier pill to swallow when considering the beauty of Ancient Evil. And so for that reason, I've decided to place Ancient Evil at the number 8 spot on our list.
I think if this map didn't have portals, yeah, it would be terrible. But I think genuinely this map layout is one of the greatest we've seen. Definitely an underrated
Moving into our number 7 spot today, we have got Maut Toten. What I personally think is the best Cold War map. And
honestly, I think Maut Toten is one of the best zombies maps with ziplines. To me, it's not as good as Call of the Dead, but the ziplines just make this map so buttery smooth. That's why it's still to this day my favorite Cold War zombies map. I can't speak.
Part of that I think is down to its layout. Maut Toten is actually a fairly large sized map if you think about it.
Yeah.
You've got a large open area on the street level, coupled with an equally large underground area, as well as all the accessible buildings and rooftops as well. But despite the large map, it actually gives off the illusion of being fairly small.
It does. It's because of the vertical layers. Again, verticality is important, and I hope we see that in Janus Towers for BO6.
And that's because of how well the map integrates both horizontal and vertically inclined spaces to incorporate everything into the map, as well as having a healthy amount of fast travel between areas, which facilitates easy access between each area of the map and reduces the tediousness of going between different areas.
Also, stamina up in PhD on this map and game just helps the flow of this map so much more because you just go lightning fast.
You've also got all the important features of the map in fairly close proximity to each other too, such as Juggernog and Pack-a-Punch, which is always a nice bonus.
Yeah, anytime that Pack-a-Punch is central in a map, I always find people love it. I mean, Maur's Pap is so easy to get to.
Nothing really bad to say about Maut Toten, which is why I've put it at the number 7 spot.
Yeah, I think it's a fair spot. That's a fair spot. It's the best Cold War map.
And coming into the number 6 spot, we have got Buried, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, now, I knew he was going to include this, man. Let's go.
Buried has quite an unconventional layout in the fact that you can go through an entire game of zombies using only about half of the entire map, which is due to almost everything you need being located in the center, what I call channel of the map.
You gotta respect this map because a lot of the layout doesn't unlock unless you use Leroy. And Leroy was a big hit or miss mechanic. Like if Leroy sucked, people would have hated this map. But this map just works so well with him. You're able to unlock the fast travel back from the maze, like getting to the Pack-a-Punch easy. It's just freaking, I love Buried.
Stretching from about the jug/box area around to the courthouse, through the witch's house, and out to Pack-a-Punch.
Yeah, just like an amazing Black Ops 2 Zombies map. This is the Victus map whenever I think about it, you know?
But there's actually a large web of random pathways, rooms, and buildings that are all accessible to the player as well. Which, if you're feeling a bit curious and adventurous, you can go and get lost amongst the endless passageways. Admittedly, there's not a lot going on up here, and I kind of wish there was. But
it's true, a lot of it is just like for parts, but regardless though, like this is infinitely better than Transit and Die Rise.
It's still cool the way they snake around the map and end up in random locations. Moving back to the main part of the map, I do enjoy the variety of obstacles this map throws at you. You've got the many nooks and crannies of the town, the witch's house, then the ever-changing maze, before it then loops back around nicely. A nice variety, and a large map that has been made to feel a lot smaller, and so in the end,
this really like highlights how incredible Old Treyarch was, because this map was supposed to be like a buried underground cave. Like people didn't know what this map was going to be when it was first dropping, and they absolutely nailed it. Some of the vistas and the views in this map are gorgeous.
Buried claims our number 6 spot.
Yeah, such an interesting map.
Now here we are at the number 5 spot on our list today. We have got Mob of the Dead.
How did I know? How did I know? Honestly, I'm glad Mob of the Dead is here over Blood of the Dead.
Now Mob of the Dead's layout is great for a number of reasons. Firstly, despite the large size of the map, they managed to find a way to ensure that every single area has some relevancy in the player's setup.
Somehow this map layout was perfect for like MP Warzone zombies. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Whether it be containing plane parts, acid gat pieces, dogs, blundergat skulls, etc., it's all been spread evenly throughout the map. But on top of this, and possibly even more importantly, it's all been laid out in a logical order of completion too, meaning that you are able to tick things off as you progress through the map, minimizing backtracking and giving a natural flow to the map. But the map is also complemented by the iconic gondola, which provides fast access between the two extremes of the map.
The only thing I wish is that the gondola was either a little bit faster. I've played a couple versions of Mob the Dead where they have different fast travels, like one from the warden's office to the Golden Gate Bridge to the docks, like peak.
Being the actual prison.
Wish this map had stamina up too.
And the docks area, relieving you of the annoyance of traveling between these two areas on foot.
Yeah.
But an additional factor to this map's layout, one that I don't feel is talked about enough, is the variance in scenery that this map offers. Each area has its own unique visuals, which helps to distract you when traveling around the map. All in all, Mob of the Dead, a very solid map layout when you consider how large it is.
It's super large, but it's also crazy because a lot of this layout is realistic to what Alcatraz is in real life. And so that to me makes it kind of just like a layering of just genius.
And for that reason, it comes in at the number 5 spot.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's going to be
and at the
4,
number
3,
4
2,
spot today, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Shadows of Evil.
Yeah, I knew one of these had to come up. Shadows is cracked. Definitely one of the best map layouts ever.
I mean, what is there not to say about this map?
For real.
I think it's inevitable at this point that whenever you do a top 10, Shadows is going to appear somewhere.
Yeah.
And to no surprise, it finds itself on this list too.
I mean, it really is one of the best map layouts. Like the beast mode, the way you're able to navigate each area, the trams. They took such a risk making this map, and it paid off so hard.
Man, this map has just been laid out so well.
Yeah.
Moving around this map just feels so effortless.
Yeah.
And that's due to how well this map is connected together. It actually has somewhat of a similar layout to Reef, a hub and spoke layout with the junction as the hub and the 3 districts as the spokes.
It's the greatest map layout design ever. I think a lot of people's favorite zombies maps has this layout specifically.
But what it does differently is that it has a second hub underneath the junction,
right,
connected to all 3 districts via teleporters, which makes for nice and easy access between opposite extremities of the map, and these teleporters have been made to be easily accessible too. Yeah. Likewise, as in Mob of the Dead, everything in this map is laid out in a logical order of completion too, preventing any unnecessary backtracking. I mean, this map is very good. Like, what can I say?
Yeah.
The only thing I wish is that the tram was at least somewhat more useful. It's a cool and unique feature to the map that you never really use.
Again, it's kind of that same problem with the gondola, especially with speedrunning strats. Like, it just would have been so much better if there would have been a way to make it faster somehow.
I think if the trams were placed at ground level and not way up at the back of every district, you'd find yourself using them a lot more often.
And this is interesting. We're going to be getting apparently a drivable wonder vehicle, like a wonder weapon vehicle type of thing coming in Black Ops 7. So could be a train, could be like a transit bus. Maybe this idea is coming to life.
But even with that critique, Shadows is still amazing, and it finds itself at the number 4 spot.
Yeah, for real. What
Moving into our top 3 spot today, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Call of the Dead.
Dang, I'm so good at guessing these. For real, Call of the Dead is one of the best map layouts. So many people always like don't get it. Like some people get it and some people don't.
One of the most complex map layouts ever introduced into zombies, by far.
And the zip line still to this day on this map is just something else. Like, it works so good.
I covered it in more depth in my video on Call of the Dead, but I'll sum it up again here. Call of the Dead's layout is a web of dead ends, one-way pathways, and long unwinded treks just to get somewhere seemingly within touching distance. But despite being ambitious for its time, it works surprisingly well. The map forces you to be constantly thinking about how you move around the map, as just switching off for a moment can end up with you taking a far longer route than what was actually needed.
Yeah, there's never been a map, in my opinion, where buying certain doors matters so much on Call of the Dead. Like, it changes the whole flow of the game on this map. It's so BO1 in that regard.
To add to this as well, the map is well strung together by a number of travel systems like the zip lines and flinger, which are placed in great locations, but I honestly just wish there was more of them.
Yes, and I feel like Dur Toten did a good job on that. My only thing is Dur Toten introduces the zipline handle, and it makes you have to like click F and activate on them, and then there's a cooldown. Nah. I think Call of the Dead did it the best. Just jump and it just swings you right into it. Still the best way to activate a zipline.
However, the ones that are within the map are great for covering what are quite frankly considerable distances across the map.
Right.
Call of the Dead's layout overall is great. It keeps you on your toes, especially with George lumbering around the map too.
Yes.
And
so
honestly,
fire.
I wish we could see more maps laid out like this within Zombies too. As I think it makes the map a lot more interesting and adds some character to it as well.
Malware's the closest thing that we've had. Black Ops 6, in terms of a lot of the map layouts, hasn't been too hot in my opinion. Like this, it's not got that like zipline layer of like coolness as well. They could make so many interesting zombies maps, like with zip lines going around everywhere. Oh, like one of the most underrated features to make a map layout incredible in my opinion.
And so for all that, Call of the Dead takes out our number 3 spot.
Definitely deserves it. I don't know what could be better than
Now,
Call of
coming
the
into
Dead,
the number 2 spot, a potential dark horse on this list, an unexpected guest, we have got Shangrila.
How did I know, man? Oh, listen, I can't hate Shangri-La's pick here, though. Like, even though it's one of the most tough maps, just because there's not a lot of space in each of the rooms, the map interconnectivity is unparalleled. Like, all the cool water spouts, the minecart, man.
Shangri-La implements a simple, yet very clever innovation to its map layout.
Yeah.
A common theme for map layouts back in earlier COD Zombies installations is the 2 routes to power design, as I covered previously, featuring at that time in Kino, Verrückt, Ascension, and now Shangri-La. But what Shangri-La did differently is integrate this into a vertical design and not the typical flat horizontal design. Which what this does is place the opposite ends of the map directly on top of each other, allowing for the implementation of fast travels to connect the opposite ends of the map in relatively simple ways.
Shangri-La is aging like a fine wine in terms of like the aesthetics, the layout, the beauty of it. It is just something else, man, especially because it's like, it's one of the most powerful wonder weapons on this map. Like, I think people are starting to realize how great Shang is, especially with its inclusion in BO3.
With the water chutes blasting you up top from underneath, cutting times down from potentially over a minute to just a few seconds, and then both the minecart and water slide connecting opposite ends on a diagonal.
Just like so many fun things introduced into a map. And honestly, I would honestly even include Spaceland. Like, this kind of reminds me of like all the cool things in Spaceland with like the roller coasters and stuff.
Making for seamless movement around the map. But on top of that, these are some of the most unique modes of transports within the game, and are quite fun to use as well, which is always a nice cherry on top, instead of having the rather bland teleporters that Zombies seems to rely on a lot. Not to mention the amazing aesthetics of this map, which is always a welcome guest as well.
And again, like BO6, the tomb, for example, for portals, where you have a cooldown on them, you have to click F every time, there's a long animation. Like, no, bro. Bring it back to what we had, or just make it more innovative like this.
So for all that, I think Shangri-La absolutely deserves to take out the number 2 spot on
Honestly, I respect this. I agree. It is one of the coolest map layouts we've seen. I hope Spaceline's number 1.
Our list.
What could be number 1?
Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, taking out the number 1 spot is quite frankly, to no one's surprise at all, we have got Dur Eisendra. Now, Dur Eisendrak's layout is actually very similar to Shangri-La's layout, with it again featuring a 2 ways to power design in a vertical fashion instead of a horizontal fashion.
It's crazy as well, because again, this is another map based on a real life location, the Hohenwerfen Castle in Austria. And they do an incredible job creating it into a zombies map. It's just wild how later in BO4 with a map like Voyage of Despair, they did such a bad job making that map into a zombies map, even though it's 1-to-1 with the Titanic, right?
Except the way this map is considerably larger than Shangri-La and feels just as smooth to get around, bumps it up above Shangri-La. And that's once again due to the fast travels of the map.
I do think most people would say this is one of the best maps in terms of layout. The Wonder Spheres are goated.
You've got the Wonder...
They should be added in more maps. It is actually insane that the Wonder Spheres aren't in more zombies maps. I would actually hope that Janus Towers or in BO6 we get Wonder Spheres.
Spheres that provide fast access to opposite ends of the castle and
Beautiful.
also between the castle and the rocket pad.
Gorgeous.
Teleporter also connecting the rocket pad to the bottom of the...
It's got a bit of everything, you know, and I really like that. And again, with all the like gobblegums as well, anywhere but here and all that, it's fire.
Castle.
It's really
and then
fire.
what I think is the most important that you don't even think about half the time because it's just so useful is that 115 boost that fires you up top from underneath.
Just like perfect, like such a little unique mechanic. Zombie maps need these more type of fun traversal systems, like not just a portal, not just the same thing copy and paste it. Like give us something unique on every aspect of it.
But with this map,
the
pathways connecting different areas are also laid out well too, preventing any long-winded treks to get anywhere and making the map feel a lot smaller than what it actually is. Not to mention that all the main features on the map are concentrated in areas of high foot traffic as well, meaning they are never too far away or located in annoying extremities on the map.
Yeah, especially like going to Zetsubo after this map, like Zetsubo's like connectivity and map layout, it's not it. I wouldn't say it's one of the worst, but it's just definitely not it comparatively to like how interconnected DE feels.
Considering Dur Eisendrak's almost universal love amongst the community, I think it's a given that Dur Eisendrak will naturally appear somewhere on this list.
True,
and for this
like
list,
Shadows.
ladies and gentlemen, it claims the #1 spot.
I appreciate it. XD, this was an incredible video. Honestly, got to check out this band, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see y'all in that next one.